Dear viewers at home, you are welcome again to another episode of Insight with Tola. Today I am with another elderly engineer, a senior citizen, in the person of Engineer Paul, Chief Paul Oguntimehin, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He was the seventh chairman, of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Akure branch. Sir, can you give us further introduction about you, sir? We know you more.
Well, as you have rightly said, my name is Engineer Paul Oguntimehin. I'm a native of Peru, Akure,
in Ondo State.
In Ondo State, born about some 79 years ago. I had my primary school education in my town, in St. Benedict Catholic Primary School in Makoko. Finished primary school in 1959. I finished primary school 59 and I took entrance to the Catholic Seminary, Akure, Badon.
Okay.
So I entered the Catholic Seminary, Akure, Badon in 1960 with the aim and objectives of becoming a Reverend Father. Interestingly, my father was a Muslim and gave me full support to become a Catholic priest. But man proposes, God disposes. Unfortunately, in 1962, my father died. I lost my mother already in 1953 when I was just about to enter primary school. So by 1962, I already became an orphan and the first child of the family.
Responsibility.
So the rector of the seminary then called me, Reverend Father Anthony Jennings. Interviewed me and I told them that I was the firstborn. So because of that, it was not advisable for me to proceed to become a Reverend Father. So I had to leave the seminary for family reasons. And but I decided to still further my education somehow. I went to St. Catholic, there was this school college at Ekiti, St. Joseph's Catholic Technical College, it was then called. It was a school owned by the Catholic Organization of Germany.
Okay.
So I went there. All our teachers were Germans. So we did electrical installation, as they used to call it. I finished in 1966. Things were so easy for me because of the fact that I was already in the seminary. So I was, not that I was brilliant as a person, but because of the background.
Okay.
So I was already above the other students who came from secondary modern school, as they used to call it then. So I finished the last 1 year. The last year I was school prefect. Immediately I finished, I was employed to teach in that school as the first Nigerian instructor to teach in the school. Later on, some other colleagues were employed, Lawrence Ikwede from Ekiti, and some other colleagues were employed.
Okay.
So throughout my stay, things were very good for me. I was doing very well. Studies were very easy for me, and when I finished, I was working there. I started to think that I would not end up being a school an instructor.
Okay.
That I still wanted something more. So 66, I think, end of 66, I left the school. I went to Lagos. I stayed with one of my aunts. It used to be Mama Bisi, we used to call her. Mama Bisi, coincidentally, is the mother of Erilu Obada, the former deputy governor of Ondo State.
Okay.
You know, they were all descendants of Oguntimehin from the mother side. So I stayed with her, and things were good by that time. There was this WNDC at Ikeja, Western Nigeria Development Corporation, where all the industries register for recruitment, and people who are looking for work also do register recruitment. I registered there, and I was called out. My qualification then was sitting at this intermediate. I was called out, those who were first year intermediate. I was called out, and I was sent to cocoa industry, and I was employed. It was as simple as that. No need to know anybody.
No need to know anybody.
No, the Nigeria we have today is a different game completely.
No one network.
Yes, no need to know anybody. Just call me out. Who was sitting at this intermediate? I came out. I was sent to cocoa industry, and I was employed. I worked there. You know, later on, because I was performing very well, I was made a shift foreman. And then later on, an advert came out from Atlantic Textile Manufacturing Company in Peju, Lagos, for supervisor. I applied again, and I was employed. I didn't know anybody. So I became a supervisor in Atlantic Textile Manufacturing Company in Peju. And then I had this very good friend of mine, Sikiru Mustafa. We used to call him Saga City. That was his nickname. He had I think his education was standard 6. He was very brilliant. He spoke much better English than university graduate, and very civilized. I came from here where I was. That was my first time in Lagos as an adult. He was civilized and more matured. He was more exposed than me. So he was the person who told me, "Look, Paul, you like to work mathematics and physics, why not ask for federal government scholarship?" I laughed. I said, who knows me here in Lagos? No, it doesn't work that way. He said, you will sit for an exam, you will pass so well, they will take you. He was the person who took me to Bureau for External Aids at Ikoyi. And I applied, and to cut the story short, I got a federal government scholarship 1970, and I traveled to Moscow, the then Soviet Union. And I started my studies. Finally, to cut the long story short, I came back to Nigeria. Before I forget, I came back in 1974 after the first degree program, because the institute I attended is for masters, and first degree there. But when you finish the first degree program, I came on for summer holiday in Nigeria. I got married. So in 76, I finished my master's, and I got back home. I went for youth service. I did my youth service in Nepal. And as a youth corper, I was not working in Nepal as a youth corper. I was working like normal engineer, resuming at the normal time, closing at the normal time. So
doing the exact work.
They were so impressed that as a corper, they sent me to Kenya to relieve a service engineer at they call it Kenya PTC, Police Training College Service Center. I was told that I was the first youth corper to be trusted with such an assignment. So I was there. It was at PTC I met the man who really mentored me, that is Engineer Ajibulu. I met him at Kenya PTC, where I was trying to service his house. So that was the first time we met, and coincidentally, he's from Onyi, very close to my town, and I'm from Mero. So he's a very, very senior professional colleague. He was the person who started to mentor me. He finally got me registered with the NSC. He took the form, got me registered. So people advised me to come to Ondo State, and in 1980 I finally came to Ondo State, and I joined the State Ministry of Works and Transport Electrical Division. After 3 months, I was made the coordinator for electrification projects in the civil department. They call it resident engineer, but in electrical division, they call it coordinator. I was coordinator for the education projects on Ondo State. And things were very fast. The promotion was really fast. People got uncomfortable because of my rapid promotion. I could understand their problem because the promotion was really fast. But it was not my doing. It was God's doing anyway.
And your your
Yeah, but some people
expertise.
some people not understand it, that they feel very comfortable with it. As I said, I was doing coordinator of education projects in 1965. I think I became chief electrical engineer. People were saying, "What is wrong with this man? What magic is going on?"
How did he get to that?
It was not my doing. That was the way God wanted it. And 67, Ondo State Electricity Board was created, and Gov.Opaleye appointed me as the pioneer general manager.
Mm.
68, Commodore Gov.Bodegeorge was there. Captain Gov.Bodegeorge was the governor. He wanted to appoint me as permanent secretary in 88. I said no. I'm still not too young in age, but too young in the service. But in 1989, finally, I was advised to take that position by Engineer Rio, who was his classmate. He was a commissioner for rural development, I think we need to call it then. So, in 1989, I was appointed permanent secretary. So, people were worried. And I understand
how did you move fast?
People were wondering what is going on. But there was something people did not refuse to observe, that all these positions were given to me by different people. You see, I was employed under Baba Ajashi. I became coordinator of the education projects under Gov.Otiko. I became chief engineer, I think, under Ahibe. I became general manager for Ondo State Electricity Board. I think Opaleye appointed me. Okay. It was Gov.Opaleye who appointed me as permanent secretary. So there was something they were saying. It was not that it was not that one man was just promoting me. They were all different
setup.
So they were saying something, and what they were saying that the way I work, I'm so committed to my work. I'm so focused.
Commitment and focus.
Yeah, I was so focused. So. We electricity board, most of our staff left with me from Ministry of Works. Only very few stayed back. We formed electricity board, and we were all working well. It was electricity board was all the governors were using by that time, because we were commissioning every week, commissioning one time or the other. So by the time I was retiring on the 31st of December 1991, because there was this Babangida Civil Service reform.
Okay.
That said all permanent secretaries should retire with the government that appointed them. So 29 of us retired on the 31st of December 1991. And I was the only permanent secretary who had not put in 50 years in Ondo State then. So as a result, they say there was no pension for me. Of course, nobody. There were so many people that helped me. In fact, I had to mention some names that really helped, but otherwise it would have been difficult because people were worried about this past promotion. Yeah, those who did positive things, I will mention them. Starting with Baba J.K. Kolawole, so this is now late. Baba Georgia Koshile, so also rest in peace. He died, I think, last year. We have Ale Yankee, Ido Motola, Mrs. Tola Yayi, and Prince Wole Adeshida. Okay. And so many of them, these people helped me. They did not help, they protected me from being removed, because there was people who were desperate to get me out of it. And because this promotion was bothering them. What's wrong with this man? By that time, if I go to see the governor in the governor's office, it was in the president government house. When I meet commissioners there, they will tell me, don't send in your form. Because if I send in my form, the governor will call me for before commissioner. Ordinary general manager, So it was as bad as that. But I had respect for the commissioners. When I go there, when I meet commissioner, I will not send in my form. I will allow the commissioner to see the governor first. Then I will send in my form, because immediately the governor said, call me engineer. So that was the situation. But some people were not able to see the work of God. And so in 1991 I had to retire without pension. The only problem I could have had was God took control. That God that was giving the fast promotion, the speedy promotion, also took control. Captain Gov.Bodegeorge, the then governor, when he knew that we were going to retire, he directed the Ministry of Lands and Housing to give all of us housing loan because we were to leave the service. So I took housing loan. That is why I'm today not a tenant. I've become a tenant today. So I started building this my house, I think in 1988 or thereabout or something like that. And 1989, it was already, it was getting ready somehow. So in 1990, I moved into this my present house. It was just habitable. Completed, but it was very habitable. The problem then was, how would I pay my loan? You know, when you take government loan, the loan is supposed to be deducted from your pension every month. But here I had no pension. So from where will it be deducted? Again, that God who provided the rapid promotion also gave solution to it. You know, I took a contract from then education, something they call it at Awolowo Road, Ikoyi. It was a department of NEPA then. I took a contract from them for the education of 2 towns in Kwara, Owa Oniri and Obaisi. So when I got my first payment, I went to the Ministry of Lands and Housing, asked for my file. They gave me my file. They said, what is the balance of my loan? They told me. And I paid the loan off. So that was the miraculous way that God took that loan off my neck. So the God that provided the rapid promotion for which some people were worried also provided the solution for it. So that is why today I'm not a tenant. Otherwise, I don't know how to have
that story entirely.
I mean, it's a different story altogether.
Yes,
so that is the story, and life after service now. I'm trying to stay afloat. That's what I say.
Thank you, sir. Then, sir, definitely during your career, as you were climbing up the ladder, you would have had some memorable achievements or projects that showed your career. Can you share some of them?
There's so many of them. So many of them. As I said, up to today, when I am doing something, I do it. I don't know. I hate failure. You see the word you hate, or I fear failure. I don't like to fail. So that is why when you see me doing something, I do it with all my life. I don't want to fail. So in my approach to work, this is what I've been doing. So, and this is why people think I am a good in work. But no, it is because I am afraid to fail. Some people don't mind. I don't like to fail. As a youth corper, the way I was working, that is why I was sent to head the service center. So the challenges, those challenges were because I was always afraid to fail. I was always struggling to make sure that everything succeeds. And because not everything can succeed, so those were the challenges I had in my life. So take the electrification projects of Ondo State, for example. When I came to Ondo State in 1980, you know, all the projects were grounded. Phase 1 was awarded in Western region, it was grounded. Emergency was already awarded, nothing was going on. Phase 2A, Phase 2B, all of them. So we have to start. Gov.Otiko told me that, look, if the road street light is the only thing I will do, I don't mind that. These street lights have to come on. I had to travel to Benin, to the contractor, I think Gov Electric or something like that, on Sapley Road. I told him, he said, no, he said, he doesn't want it. The work doesn't pay him. I said, don't worry. Whatever problem we had before is a different story. Now just go. Reactivate. So I had to reactivate all these projects. Yes. So that is why the road was commissioned, the street light. Reactivated Phase 1, we awarded all of them. We introduced so many things, payment on account, you know, because Phase 1, we gave them to all our local contractors. Because by that time, their contractors were not developed enough. So, and I was thinking, how can people come from Lagos, from Bogotá, and they contract there? So, Chief Ogumakiwa was our DFA, Minister of Works then. I discussed with him, look, we can introduce a system. Let these people, don't give them the cash, buy material for them, supervise it. And I was construction engineer for Ekiti district before I left NEPA. Before NEPA. So I could do physically not just treating fires, to physically perform all the jobs themselves. So we were paying them at times to buy materials for them so that they don't use the money to do some other things. And the phase one was completed. So when I was retiring in 1991, already, December 31st, I had already supervised commissioned the electrification of 94 towns in the old Ondo State, that is the present Ondo and Ekiti State. And don't forget, in 1996, when Ondo State was created, the old Ondo State was created, we had electricity only in 43 towns. That is Oguntimehin, Ondo, Akure, Owo, Akure, Ekole, Ekiti, Aramoko, and so on and so forth. Those are the 9 administrative headquarters. Then we had some other towns that were, the colonial government then had some reasons to, like Ibara, Akure, Arigidi, Ipaki, Otu. There was some time like that, they were not administrative headquarters, but they already have like. So by that time we had electricity only 43 towns. But by the time I was retiring in 1991, we have added 94 towns. Now this is one thing that is still bothering me up to today, although I'm getting relieved gradually now. the electricity networks in Ondo State was financed by Ondo State government. We took $18 million Deutschmark from Commerce Bank of Germany to finance phase 2A. We directly financed phase 1 and emergency. We took federal government loan stock to finance 5 towns. Obagi, Akuba, Shopari, Ikoro. We were financed from federal government loan stock. All these were paid back by the government. So I was worried when I heard that the whole something has been sold to somebody at Abuja and it's now called Disco. I said, wow, when I was here alive, but this is our money now. The network belongs to those government. We finance the government. So, but I'm now happy now with Engr JohnsonAlabi, who is there now. He's taking very bold step now to make sure that the Ondo State government is involved in the whole thing. If we are not taking it over completely, but that is that we are really involved.
And the revenue will come to the state.
That we are getting something from it because it is our money. It is our money.
Not federal money.
It's not federal money. It is our money. The whole thing was from the allocation of Ondo State. So I'm happy with Engr JohnsonAlabi. He's doing a very good job, and I'm happy that he's now appointed a commissioner as a special advisor power. He has done a lot in looking into all these problems to make sure that we derive maximum benefit from the system and that we have steady supply. So Ondo State government is going to be involved in it now, so I'm very happy to hear that. So thanks to his effort and with the support of the President Governor Dr. Oguntimehin, I'm very happy with the state education now. So that's the
and also in the course of your career, sir, you would have faced complex situations. So what was your approach to those situations, sir?
One of the most difficult situations I faced in my career is not with the electrical engineering as such. It's this fact that I did not put in 15 years in Ondo State and I will not get pension. You see, it makes life difficult. But the only grace I have is that I have children who are very supportive, who are taking care of me. The way I work in the service, one of our colleagues, junior colleagues, I would say, he just retired now, asked me just some few months ago when I went to renew my papers, vehicle papers. He asked me, say, look, I told him, somebody was asking me a question, say, why do not put your papers together and you all of them together? Roadworthiness, vehicle license, insurance, and so on. I said, look, we have to be reasonable now. I have to stagger them. I don't have money to review all of them together. I know my own financial condition. So I say I intentionally stagger them to make sure I treat them
as funds coming.
One by one. Vehicle license this month, another one, roadworthiness, and that time, maybe insurance, and so on and so forth. So he's an engineer. He asked me that day, he said, look, he said, what advice will you give to us after following you now? I said, that's a very good question. I said, I will not advise you. I said, I will only tell you that if I have the chance, if there's a miracle now, that will bring me back to 28 years of age, and I start work again on level 9, I say I will do the work exactly the same way I did it. He said, it's okay. Say, there's no need to advise. The message is
clear. The message.
Say, I've got the message. So this is what I will say that these were challenges, but I would say God took control. God took control. Today, I am not rich. One problem I have today is that nobody wants to believe that I don't have money. Nobody wants to believe it. Aba, Chief Electrical Engineer, Chairman Electricity Board, Chairman Electricity Board, Chairman Water Corporation, Owner Secretary, Chairman Water Corporation. People believe I should be having petrol station, this and that, and so on and so forth. That was not my intention when I was in service. So nobody wants to believe. But my children and my wife, they know me very well, and they are taking good care of me. Yes. So that is why I'm still alive today.
Sir, what is your advice to young professionals? What skill, in terms of skill, that they should learn?
Young professionals, well, if you want to talk of skill, you know why I'm still attending Society of Engineers meeting.
Yes. I know that you come regularly every month.
It is because if you don't associate yourself with the young ones, you just wake up and find out that your certificate has expired. That's what you find out. Because things are dynamic. Things are changing every day. When I was in the Soviet Union, when I learned a computer, what we call computer today, it was like a wardrobe. You know, we were removing one thing from plugging to another. It was a big wardrobe, what we call computer today. But your handset is to a computer today now. Yes. So if somebody has learned computer, we call it Fortran 9, something like that. Fortran 9, that is what we used to call that computer, but that's Fortran 9. So if you learn that one, you are paying your PhD or whatever by that time, and you are not conversant with what is going on today, with Microsoft Word, this and that, and so on and so forth, and you are still thinking of a computer, the size of the wardrobe, your certificate has expired. So this is why you have to move with the young ones so that you be Coren. I'm always on Google reading one thing or the other. To the young ones, I will advise this. You know, money is important. Yes. Don't get me wrong. I also need money. But the young ones should focus on the profession. Focus on the profession. The money will come somehow. If I'm any pensioner, I wouldn't suffer anything. If I start today, even with that pension, my wife and my children, they're taking care of me, and I'm not doing bad. People don't know unless I tell them. You know? But I will advise our young engineers to focus on the professional development so that the knowledge will be there. The knowledge will be there. If you can do something to bring in more money, it's very good. It's a very good thing. But the emphasis should not be just on money alone. The profession is very, very important. And engineering is so, you know, I used to say it in the meeting that the lawyers are learned, but we are scientists. We are never learned. We remain learners until we die. So our young engineers should know that you are going to be learners until you die. It is lawyers that get learned. So this is why I still have to associate myself with our young ones, because there are things you know now that I was not taught, that I have to know from you, and so on and so forth. So this is my advice to the young engineers, that they should focus on the profession. The money will come somehow.
Sir, in the course of your career, you would have had several incidences or challenges that looks like failure, and you turn them into success. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, there are a lot of problems. A lot of problems really. Even in Ondo State here, as I said before, the education project itself, when I got to Ondo State, was already granted. It was granted. I said it before, that phase 1 was awarded in the Western region. There was no contractor on site. Nobody was talking about it anymore. So on and so forth. But even the emergency people already forget. Emergency towns were towns that were selected, especially because of things going on there. The Boko, for example, because of the fishery terminal, or because of the strategic location. So all of them like that. This hot water something, Gogosi, because of the hot water and cold water something there. So they were selected for specialties. But nothing was going on. So it took me a lot to turn around. I remember Ikara was awarded to somebody. I had to travel to Western House in Lagos to meet the person. I had to climb, I think, Western House. I think at the 30th floor or something. I remember that day there was no lift to go And I didn't know I had malaria. Well, by the time I got to his office, I nearly fainted because I had to climb the whole thing. He wanted to tell him, this is what I want. He said, you cannot do it. So I had to change that one and change it to phase 2A. You know, that is why crime has life today. So there are so many things like that that we have to run around to manipulate one thing or the other. Even the education of phase 2A itself, there were so many things we had that I was going to build. Look at Iju, Ondo, and Tigere.
Okay.
The road from Iju to Tigere was not, it would be wrong to say not motorable, it was even not passable. But when I traveled to Atigere, I had to go through Ondo State, through Abigi, Ondo State, to reach Atigere. And I told Siemens, look, Siemens said they will take a supply from Abigi to Atigere. I said, how can you construct HT from Ondo State down to our side? I said, we are going to go through Ijodo. So it was a tug of war with me and Siemens, but we argued, disagreed, but I insisted as a project engineer.
That's what it was.
So they had to do it. So that is why they call it Major. So there were all the towns in between Atigere and Ijodo today, but we have the HT. But do that. So we had problems like that, but we had to, be steadfast with our something. Maybe I could have been richer if I were a little bit soft to allow people to do what they do. But I'm quite rich. I'm very rich now because I'm happy to see all those things, that they are working. Those networks are there now. That we don't have supply, that's a different story.
Yes,
but the networks are there.
So definitely things will happen.
That's it.
Then, sir, in your career, definitely there are some certain misconceptions that you know or that people say.
Yes.
Can you share some with us?
Yes. Let me give you an example. When I was in Nepal, last year bus stop, that is Ikeja district. Ikeja district is what we call Ikeja Disco now. I was to take car loan. I told my boss, my principal engineer Onyido, Cyprian Onyido, he liked me so much. I said I will take car loan that I'm still not sure. He said, look, he said, if you don't ride the car, he said, nobody will believe that you're an engineer. That's the Nigerian mentality.
You have to show them that
they will rate the technicians of them, they will rate them about because they are all riding cars. Yes. The technicians, they are all riding cable junters, linesmen, they are all riding cars. They will think that they are but that is the way we think. I say, go and take your car loan. So that is one thing, the way we listen here. So I had to take car loan. I laughed, it was funny to me. He said, but look, that is what we have to do. So it's one of the things I got to know. You see, in Nigeria, for example, engineering profession is the most abused profession in this country.
Why, sir?
Yes. So everybody calls himself an engineer. What can you do? Even myself, those people repairing my handset or something, I also call them engineer because that is what they write. So I don't mind. It has become a normal thing. I call engineer, come and repair my something for me. From back, I call himself engineer. We don't call him so there is no problem. So, and then you see, there is one thing we don't know in this country. We can develop only with scientific approach. Okay. Engineers are not valued enough in Nigeria. They are not valued enough in Nigeria.
Like doctors.
Like doctors. Well, maybe because they are connected with life, and there is something they don't know. A mistake of a doctor can only kill one person in the theater. A mistake of an electrical engineer or a civil engineer can kill 200 people at a time. That is why people don't know, they don't understand. So they should. In the Soviet Union, where I studied, you see, the engineer, a new graduate engineer, earns a little bit more than a medical doctor. They call them brash. You see, it is when you go further now, when you become specialized, that you are called doctor. The new graduate, medical graduate is called brash. The same colleague, engineer, earns a little bit higher than him. Because the understanding is this. As a doctor, nobody is asking you to invent a new heart.
No.
You have to treat what God has created. That is all. But the engineer, The onus is on you to think of new things every day. Can you even remove this and you replace it completely with another different thing? That is what you are expected to do as an engineer. So, and all the developed countries in this world, they value their scientists very, very much. One thing that is still missing in Nigeria is that we still don't value our scientists very, very much. Politicians rule this country.
Yes.
And the scientists are relegated to the background completely.
Is it because engineers and scientists don't go into politics?
Even if you go there, but it means you leave your profession. You understand me?
And focus on
politics. So,
but you know, administration.
Look at Sharaki now. Shola Sharaki, the senior president. Bukola Sharaki is still president. How is he developing medical? He's supposed to be a medical doctor, right?
Yes.
So he has very into something now. It's not supposed to be so. You should be a medical doctor, an engineer, or something. As he be valued by your country, so that you develop. I don't say you cannot go to politics. You can go, but the way, look, can you imagine now a politician now? I spent, I think, 11 years plus now, 12 years plus. I think after 1991, before 1992, it was changed to 12 years. That is in the service, what you can pension. I had just about 3 months less or something by that time, and I'm not any pension now. But a politician who becomes a governor, you really that salary and car for life. For 4 years. Those are all the discrepancies in this country. A politician become a governor now, or deputy governor, just for 4 years. You'll be even your change your car, your domestic staff for 4 years, you have a new car for life just for 4 years. But somebody who works for 50 years is neglected. Even those who are qualified for pension, you look at the way they are treated. They gather some. I used to see some people who come from Okearo, from Kijebu, to come and do what they call it. This exercise they do, they check every time. Okay. Whether they are still alive or one thing or the other, they tell them to come to that road here. Auditing one thing or the other.
I think it's because of the
look at the way
ghost workers.
Look at the way they are suffering when you become a pensioner one at a time. You know, these people, they are not the senior citizens in this country are not well treated. They are not well treated. I have done a lot. The little I can get, I think I have served this state enough. I should be better treated than the way I am now, but I am happy that my family is taking care of me at least. But if I were governor, I would have to go for 4 years now. I'll be more now. I'll be happy driver and everything.
Okay, sir.
So this is still a mistake.
Thank you, sir, for that.
Yeah.
Sir, what do you do apart from when you're not doing anything engineering?
Okay. That's another very good question. You know, we are created differently. One thing about me is that I discover myself. There are some people that do not discover themselves. You know, some people are created for themselves. I am created for humanity. That is what I discovered in myself. In all difficult situations, I am still serving humanity in one way or the other. Right from school, you know, even when my father died that I had to go to technical school, I was prepared, you know. Even when I was in an anti-textile manufacturing company, because before I traveled abroad, I registered trade union. I registered the trade union in that company. In Moscow also, I was secretary of Students' Union, president of Students' Union. The last 2 years, I was president of African Students' Union. Today, I see, apart from just doing my engineering work, I still want to relate with this Nigerian sort of engineers, with the NIEEE, with Coren in my town also. I hold the traditional title of Vincent. I became the actuary of the town because I'm always thinking of the people, Even right where we are sitting now, I was the president of the Landlords Association here for 9 years, where I'm sitting here. So I'm always working for humanity.
And then you impact the society.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what they call it. That is the way I'm created anyway. I'm not created for myself.
I'm created for
humanity, to serve humanity. Okay. So, and I like it and I enjoy it.
Definitely. So before we round up the program, I want you to talk about an area. And the question is, I want to talk about electricity industry in Ondo State and in Nigeria.
Yes, electricity industry. Well, briefly in Nigeria, we started very humble way. When during the colonialists, I think we had a generator in Marina Lagos. I think 94 kilowatts or 84 kilowatts, I can't remember. It was serving only the General Hospital then and the Island Maternity and the places where the colonial masters were living. Then later on, we started to grow gradually with generators were being brought to different areas of the country. We had the Niger Dam Authority, then we had the NEPA, we had the PACN, before President Jonathan bundled them and created the discourse and so on and so forth. So, Nigeria is a one mistake we made. Nigeria is a very big country. To this attempt to have one authority managing the affairs of electricity industry in Nigeria, it's a very big country. Nigeria is the only big country of this size where you have one unit. So President Jonathan tried to solve that problem by the creation of discourse. Even the creation of discourse, also there was a problem there. Today, the level discourse we have, I think only Lagos, that is Eco-Disco and Ikeja Disco, can survive for two reasons. I don't know what is happening there anymore, but when they started, they were making use of the professionals, making use of engineers. I don't know what they do now. Then the second reason why they can survive, the system is compact enough. No Eco-Disco. The MD can visit all the tickets in the day if they want. If you spend one hour each one, you can be sorry. The Ikeja Disco also, you stay 1 hour in the Ikeja, 1 hour in Kurodu, and you can visit all the something in the day. So the network is compact. But to say one disco is handling electricity distribution in the part of Delta, Ondo, Ekiti, and so on and so forth, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It should be decentralized. It should be decentralized. And I'm happy, that is why I say I'm happy with Engr JohnsonAlabi that is doing very good work. Electricity distribution, generation and distribution has been approved now by the federal government to be decentralized.
Yes, I think last week also.
So the state can now generate and distribute electricity. So, you see, states or regions can come together if you want. For example, now, our sister state, Ekiti, Ondo, we were together before. We can come together to form a network.
Yes.
But not anybody joining us together with the system you cannot monitor. You see, how do you find fault in the system that you cannot monitor? So the national grid should be retained only for backfeeding. That is, if there's a problem in Ibadan, for example, and Osun State or Ondo State has electricity, so we can form, say, maybe 10 megawatts to the national grid for them to help them. That is, if they are comfortable. If vice versa, if there's a problem and Quora is comfortable, you can come to us so that you can take to solve our problem. That is what the national grid should be meant for. But the states should be able to have their own network. They will have their own network, generator have their own network. And the renewable energy is what is involved now. We're able to make use of it so that we have localized stations so that we serve our people and meter them. You see, all this estimated billing or something, to me, is fraud, and it should be stopped. So I'm very happy with the present situation.
And then there's proper metering.
Yes, in Nigeria, JohnsonAlabi is doing very well in this regard, and I'm sure the next 1 or 2 years, we pray that the government will not change it. Because that is the problem we have in Nigeria. You can have another governor coming down
change the policy.
Don't say we are not going that way. So if there is no negative change, let me call it that way. If we can continue this way, the next 2 years, I think the electricity in Ondo State will be better. And the citizen will.
And kudos to the governor of the state.
The governor who is giving it his approval, because Engr JohnsonAlabi has the approval and support of the governor. Yes. That is why he's able to do what he's doing. So I'm very happy with them.
Thank you, Mr. Governor.
Thank you, Mr. Governor, for that. He's doing a very good work as far as the industry of Ondo State is concerned. He has put the ramp perk in the ramp hole. The engineer is doing very well, and he's giving the full support and giving free hand to do the right thing. And the right thing is now being done. So I'm very happy. Yes. And I'm very, very hopeful that very soon things will change for the better.
In Ondo State.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Dear
much.
viewers at home, it has been insightful and memorable with Engineer Chief Paul Oguntimehin, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the 7th chairman of the Nigerian Center of Engineers Akure branch. And before we round up the program, and there's something I want to say to viewers at home. The man you are looking at here I worked with him, was the first engineer I worked with in his company, Shitu Consult. I worked with him as a junior consultant. Then we were handling PTF project, Petroleum Trust Fund project, that for Southwest, where that spans Ekiti, Federal Poly Ado, Federal Poly Laro, and Yabatek. Were traversing the whole of these states in 1996/98. I worked with him for 2 years, and part of who I am today, and I still work as a consultant too, I learned from him. Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck. And be greater than me in Jesus' name.
Amen, sir. Thank you, sir. And I appreciate mommy too.
Thank you very much.
It was a nice environment. We were in this complex together working, and then you sending us on an errand. You told us this is what you don't sign for what you don't know. You use your black barrel. I learned all those things from you. And I said thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And before we round up finally, we normally have a tradition on this program. And what is the tradition? We give gifts. We give gifts to our guests, and the gift might look small, but at least that is where we all started from, and that is a clutch pencil. As engineers, we started from secondary school. You use a pencil to sketch. When we're using technical, when we're using what do you call it? This board,
drawing board.
Drawing board. We use drawing board to sketch. It's not that we have AutoCAD. Then there was no AutoCAD in the office. Then, sir, we're using pencil to sketch. We do all this on drawing board. So this is a token of our appreciation, sir.
Thank you very much.
So I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Your encouragement.
Thank you very much.
So far. Thank you for your time on this program.
Thank you.
So dear viewers at home, it has been nice listening to Engineer Chief Paul Oguntimehin, a fellow of the Nigerian Center of Engineers. Thank you.